Kicked off the Indy Madness tour in Cameron, Texas, where Giovanna in Megalodon Fire backed up her World Racing Championship, while Eckert in Fullboar threw down the winning Dubby freestyle run. Tonight, the show stops in Round Rock, Texas, looking for two more champions. Who will they be? This is the Rorsrps semi-realistic points series. This is Monster Jam! Hello everybody and welcome back to the Rorsrps channel. My name is Preston Vieira and we are here for the first time at the Dell Diamond baseball field in Round Rock, Texas with the Indy Madness tour. We have a lot in store for you tonight, starting with, as always, our Dubby racing competition, and we'll be debuting the all-new substitute filling in for Darren Migues in Wolf's Head, the DD Fandom Protector, driven by DD Live himself. Let's take a look at our racing bracket and see who's facing off tonight. Kicking off the first round of racing, we got Giovanna in Megalodon Fire with her rematch against Corey Fisher in Blacksmith. Jim Koehler in Megabyte will face off against Dan Dahlgren in Iron Outlaw. Chuckie Pauken in Excaliber will take on the substitute DD Live in DD Fandom Protector. Kaylyn Mowry in Jailbird will face off against Dawson Rayas in Shake Me. Amsoil Shock Therapy with Cole Pecka will face off against Matthew Hood in Rage. Bobby Holman in Shadow the Hedgehog will take on Eckert in Fullboar. Jack Merkle in Vorian Prime will face off against Colt Durham in Plain Krazy. And finishing out round one, we got Jimmy Creten in Bounty Hunter taking on George 20D10 in Chillin Villain. A couple of really great races here. Definitely excited to see how the sub does tonight. We saw Batman come out in Salinas, California, do pretty well in racing, made it up into round two. While that's not exemplary, that is pretty well for a substitute. We have only had one substitute winner on the channel so far as racing goes. So we'll see how DD does tonight, and if he can get up into round two like we saw the other one do last week. Corey Fisher in Blacksmith coming out on your right. He'll be taking on Giovanna, our world racing champion right now. Megalodon Fire on your left. And this is definitely going to be an interesting race. I mean, this is a rematch, as I mentioned. Corey Fisher getting a chance to potentially knock out Giovanna here in Round Rock, Texas. Was unable to do so in Cameron. We'll see how he does tonight. This is definitely a more intricate race, I would say, just because there is two jumps on the track, followed directly by two turns. And speaking of the racing tonight, though, it is brought to you by the channel partner Dubby. Be sure to check them out. They got all kinds of great flavors of energy powders. You can find them online at dubby.gg, as well as on Instagram at dubby.gg, and you can check them out on their all-new app on the App Store, both Apple and Google app stores. And yeah, you'll hear more about them later on in the video. But let's go racing here for our first race of the night. Corey Fisher, nice start so far. A lot of rebound in that Blacksmith truck. A little bit of trouble in the first turn, but it's still neck and neck. Corey Fisher getting to the ground first as well, able to put that power down if he could stop bouncing around. And that is going to put him out here in round one. Giovanna nice and tight with the ground. Not a lot of rebound compared to Blacksmith. And yeah, manages to stick it out to the end and grab the win here in round one. We'll see her again in just a little bit. Next out on the track, though, we got Jim Koehler in Megabyte. On your left, he'll be taking on Dan Dahlgren in Iron Outlaw. Iron Outlaw unable to make it out of round one in Cameron, Texas. We'll see if he can do it here tonight. Megabyte only made it up into round two last time. Was unlucky with his first turn. Cut in a little bit too early, clipped the car, and rolled it over. We'll see if he can keep it under control here in round one tonight and knock out Iron Outlaw, or if Dan Dahlgren can actually step it up and grab his first racing win of the season. And I don't mean racing competition win, I mean racing win, period. So we'll see how it goes here. Both trucks staged, ready to go, and we are green, launching off of that starting line and headed into our first turn. Both trucks looking good. Dan super tight, a little too tight on the exit. Kind of gets crooked there on the jump. He is behind right now. Big slide from Jim Koehler in Megabyte, but it doesn't matter. Jim Koehler is on to round 2 tonight. Dan Dahlgren not able to make it happen. We'll see if he can, improve at some point throughout the season. I would like to see Iron Outlaw move up through the bracket pretty well, but if you think about last season, Scarlett didn't make it too far up the bracket either in a lot of her competitions. Did do well in the World Finals, though, which was a big surprise to a lot of us. DD live in the DD Fandom Protector on your right now. We'll see how he does as he takes on Chuckie Pauken in Excaliber. Now, Excaliber made it up into the semifinals last time we saw him in Cameron, Texas. The DD Fandom Protector has yet to prove himself as a solid truck and driver combo. We have not seen this truck run at all. The most we've seen from this truck is its visual debut in the Season 2 kickoff show. We'll see how he does in an actual Season 2 show, his first one of the season. Subs have to win either racing or freestyle in order to earn themselves a second show and a chance to get some more points and potentially qualify for the World Finals. We're off that starting line now, and they are pretty close. It's neck and neck right now. DD manages to take the lead through that first turn. Is Chuckie going to come back? It does not look like it. DD live in the DD Fandom Protector manages to knock out Chuckie Pauken in Excaliber, a semi-finalist from our first show of the season on the Indy Madness tour. DD live, nicely done. Moving on to round 2. We'll take a look at our next matchup here. Kaylyn Mowry on your left in Jailbird. We'll be taking on Dawson Rayas in Shake Me. Shake Me had a poor run in racing last show in Cameron, Texas, but a great show in freestyle. So we'll see how he does here tonight. Like I said, definitely a different track than we saw last time. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We'll see how he does. Kaylyn Mowry, she was here in Season 1, was not the perfect competitor by any means, but that Jailbird truck did manage to get a freestyle championship once last season, was overall decent, was unable to get a World Finals qualification, so she needs it. She wants it desperately this season. We'll see how she does here as we are already into our first turn for this race. Big slide from Dawson Rayas, not looking good so far, but Kaylyn Mowry's a little all over the place. It's pretty close through the final turn, but it is going to be Kaylyn Mowry sticking it out to the end. She is moving on to round 2. Jailbird will be back in just a little bit. Unfortunate break once again for Dawson Rayas. Seems like that truck is just not made for racing. Will absolutely blow the competition away in freestyle, though, if you give him the chance. Matthew Hood in Rage coming out next. They'll be taking on Cole Pecka in Amsoil Shock Therapy. Now, that Amsoil Shock Therapy truck and driver combo here, Cole Pecka made it up as the runner-up in the racing competition from Cameron, Texas. We'll see how he does here as we get into round 1 tonight. Excaliber out early. And another thing to note, Matthew Hood driving that Team Scream CRC chassis. Both CRCs are up into round 2. We'll see who comes out on top in this race. The Team Sudden Impact, Sudden Impact Racing Team trucks not looking so good, maybe. Off the line, though, we are heading into our first turn. Amsoil Shock Therapy super tight, a little sloppy, though. Had to check up on the brakes there, let off the gas a little bit, which slowed him down. Matthew Hood catching up a little bit. It is close as we get to the line, but it is going to be Cole Pecka in Amsoil Shock Therapy, making another move towards that final round, that Dubby final round. Can he get his first Dubby Racing Championship of Season 2? We'll see here as we move through the bracket tonight. Eckert in Fullboar coming out next. Bobby Holman is going to be taking him on here in racing. We'll see who can come out on top. Eckert was absolutely perfect in freestyle last time. Had an insane run. Managed to grab the Dubby Freestyle Championship. As for racing, though, didn't get too far up the bracket. Bobby Holman, another one who didn't make it out of round 2. Did make it up into round 2, though. So we'll see how he does here, taking on Fullboar. Really great truck. Let's see what's up. As we get to the line, both trucks staged, ready to go. We are going green and over the line for the first time in this race. Got to make it back to find our champion here in this race. Over that jump and headed right into that final turn. It is close. Both of these drivers doing well on this track by inches, though. It is going to be Eckert in Fullboar. And both of these guys are experienced drivers, but turns out that it is that Fullboar truck tonight that will knock out Bobby Holman in Shadow the Hedgehog. We'll be seeing Shadow the Hedgehog when it comes to freestyle, but for racing, he is out. Colt Durham coming out next on your right in Plain Krazy. He'll be taking on Jack Merkle in Vorian Prime. Vorian Prime, a great truck, solid racer. We'll see how he does against the ROR SCS host and owner. This is, competitor versus owner here. Jack Merkle, of course, as I mentioned last show, competes in the ROR SCS series. Be sure to check out that series on YouTube and on Instagram at ROR SCS. A lot of great shows, and this season they're doing a 2016 replica season. Signups are closed, but you can watch along as they get through it. Launching off the starting line here on the ROR SRPS channel, though, and headed into our first turn. It is pretty close so far. Colt Durham looking good against Jack Merkle in that Vorian Prime truck. Vorian sliding through that turn. It is not going to be super close, though. Jack Merkle in Vorian Prime is on to round 2, knocking out Colt Durham in Plain Krazy. Not a bad pass from Colt. That Vorian Prime truck and Jack Merkle behind the wheel. Solid combo, great racer, great truck. And we are on to the next one here. Bounty Hunter Jimmy Creten, a one-time world racing champion and a one-time world freestyle. That makes 2. I know math this episode. And George 20D10 in Chillin Villain had his debut last show. Didn't do too hot in racing. We'll see how he does this time around. Last time he was out in round 1. Hopefully he can get up into round 2, but he has a tough draw here in the first race of the night. Well, not first race of the night, his first race of the night. We'll see if he can earn himself a potential second race. Jimmy Creten staged, George staged. We're ready to go, and we're going green. Over the first jump and headed into our turn. Bounty Hunter Jimmy Creten absolutely tossing that truck into the turn, and it works out great for him. He is in the lead right now. A lot of rebound from George 20D10 and a big slide through the final turn. It's closer than I thought it was going to be, but it is. Jimmy Creten and Bounty Hunter taking that truck to the line. And he is on to round 2. We'll be seeing Bounty Hunter again in just a minute. Let's get a look at our bracket in just a second. But if you guys are enjoying tonight's show, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. We got new shows every Saturday. You do not want to miss this season. This is only round 2 out of 10 before the World Finals. You can also check us out on Instagram at RORSRPS for all kinds of extra content, including early access to the week's racing bracket, pit party pictures, results, and more. Just general news about the channel. But yeah, subscribe, guys. We got 3 tours here. The Biggest and Baddest Tour, All-Star Challenge Tour, and the Indy Madness Tour. But let's take a look at our bracket here. Megalodon is going to be taking on Megabyte. DD Fandom Protector will take on Kaylyn Mowry in Jailbird. Shock Therapy will face off against Fullboar, and Vorian Prime will close out round 2, taking on Bounty Hunter. Definitely a lot of interesting races here into this second round of the night, and here's one right here. Another rematch. Giovanna Hayes in Megalodon Fire taking on Jim Koehler in Megabyte. Now, if I remember correctly, Giovanna Hayes knocked out Jim Koehler last show because this is the second round here. Megabyte managed to clip the car, like I mentioned earlier, and rolled the truck, and that put him out of the race. I mean, was able to refire the truck, was able to get across the line, but he lost that race due to that rollover, and Giovanna Hayes managed to move on. We'll see if Jim Koehler can come back with some vengeance here in round 2 tonight in Round Rock, launching off the line and headed into our first turn. It is close. The CRC's going head-to-head here on this track, but it is Giovanna Hayes with the lead right now. Can she hold it through this final turn? She had a big slide in round 1, another big slide, but not big enough for Jim Koehler to make up the ground. It is Giovanna Hayes in Megalodon Fire, moving on to the semifinals, getting closer to a second shot at another Dubby championship. Can she get it tonight? Next out on the track, though, we got DD Live and DD Fandom Protector on your left. They'll be taking on Kaylyn Mowry in Jailbird. Kaylyn definitely stepping it up this season. Last season, like I said, she was not the best competitor we've ever seen, but she wasn't bad. She was definitely decent, and this season she's proven to be a force to be reckoned with. She hasn't taken any wins yet. We're only one show deep, and Megalodon Fire and Fullboar got both wins, as well as Amsoil Shock Therapy taking the overall, but she had a solid performance in both racing and freestyle, so we'll see how she does moving throughout the season. DD Fandom Protector just starting out his season. We'll see how he does taking on the veteran here on the channel. Kaylyn Mowry looking good through that first turn. DD cutting it a little shallow there on the end, but it manages to keep him in contention for the lead here. Around the turn, it is DD with the better turn, and DD Live, the DD Fandom Protector, is on to round 2. Be sure to check out DD's channel, guys. That is DD Live Studios here on YouTube. He's always live, always hanging out with some people, and definitely check him out. He's a good dude. Next out on the track, though, it is Eckert in Fullboar. He's going to be on your right, taking on Cole, Pecka, and Amsoil Shock Therapy. Now, this is going to be a good race. This could potentially be a deciding race for the rest of the night. Now, this is our runner-up in racing from Cameron, Texas, on your left here, the Amsoil Shock Therapy with Cole, Pecka behind the wheel. Eckert, of course, as I mentioned a couple times so far tonight, the Dubby freestyle champion from Cameron, Texas. He's looking to throw down in racing tonight. He has to get past the runner-up from last show, though. How is Cole Pecka going to do it? Launching off the starting line, we're going to find out here in just a second. Headed into our first turn. Great turn from both trucks, both drivers really putting the foot to the metal here. Around this final turn, it is close. A big slide from Amsoil Shock Therapy, though. It is Eckert in Fullboar who knocks out Cole Pecka tonight. Wow. Cole Pecka came out here with a mission. He wanted to get back into that Dubby final round and get that racing championship, but tonight it is not gonna happen out here in round 2. Jimmy Creten and Bounty Hunter coming out next. He'll be taking on Jack Merkle in Vorian Prime. Now, we just saw Vorian Prime absolutely decimate, well, I should be a little kinder. He didn't absolutely decimate Colt Durham, but Jack Merkle put down a solid run. Super fast, especially in the latter half after the second jump here. Jimmy Creten, a solid run. I don't know if he has what it takes to knock out Vorian Prime if we're just using last round's run as the benchmark here. Jimmy Creten, we're going to have to see him step it up in the second round here, but we are off the starting line and headed into our first turn. Who is going to take the win this time around? A big slide from Jimmy Creten, but does it beautifully. He is already a little bit behind, though. Jack Merkle with a big lead right now coming out of that final turn, and it is all Jack Merkle in Vorian Prime. Just about the same margin for a win as he had with Colt Durham. He is consistent tonight. We may have a competitor, a truck and driver combo that is in contention for the Dubby Racing Championship here. Megalodon Fire is going to be taking on the DD Fandom Protector as we head into the semifinals, and Eckert in Fullboar is going to be taking on Jack Merkle in Vorian Prime. Let's get into our semifinals tonight. Giovanna Hayes on your left will be taking on DD Live on your right. Who is going to come out on top? Your guess is as good as mine. DD has been on fire so far tonight. We're 2 rounds in. He has 2 rounds of experience under his belt, but it is working for him. And, you know, Giovanna Hayes, world racing champion in Cameron, Texas. She wants to do it again tonight, obviously. And we are getting closer and closer to that Dubby final round. Who will come out on top here in the semifinals and potentially get into that next round? We're going to go green here and launch off of that starting line. Headed into our first turn. It is a close race so far. Giovanna Hayes giving it everything she's got. She slides a little bit in that first turn. Into the final turn here. Big turn from both trucks, but it is going to be DD Live knocking out Giovanna Hayes in Megalodon. Oh my goodness. Our second sub of the season is now into our Dubby final round. DD Live and the DD Fandom Protector has a shot at that Dubby championship tonight. Can he get it? We'll find out his opponent here in just a second, with Eckert taking on Jack Merkle. Fullboar on your left taking on Vorian Prime on your right. Both of these trucks, solid passes so far tonight. Vorian Prime has been super consistent though. Been on fire. We'll see how he does here in the semifinals. Can he, I mean, something of note here. I gotta mention this. He is in the opposite lane that he's been in all night. Fullboar as well, I believe. I think they both switched lanes. So who is gonna come out on top? It's about back to even. So who is gonna make it into that Dubby final round? Who will take on the DD Fandom Protector? It is a close race so far, headed into this final turn of, wow. Sorry, stumbling over my words there. It is gonna be Eckert in Fullboar moving on to the Dubby final round, but Jack Merkle just really sloppy off of that landing, came out a little squirrely in that final straightaway and before the final turn, and down he goes. So our Dubby final round is the DD Fandom Protector taking on Fullboar. DD Live versus Eckert. Who will come out on top? Our second sub of the season has a shot at earning himself a second show. Not to mention, our reigning freestyle champion has a shot at his first racing championship. This is definitely going to be an interesting night. And if you're interested in a new energy powder, if you're looking for something delicious that'll give you some good clean energy, be sure to check out Dubby, guys. You get 10% off on their website using code RORSRPS. You know, they got some good flavors. My favorite, of course, is the Beach and Peach flavor, the Mango White Peach Cooler. They got 10 energy flavors and 2 hydration flavors. Be sure to check them out, guys, at dubby.gg on the internet, dubby.gg on Instagram, and they have a Dubby app on both the Apple and Google Play stores, and you do not want to pass them, guys. Don't pass them up. They're delicious and they got some good energy. We're gonna launch off of that starting line now and head into our first turn for the Dubby final round. Who will come out on top? Over the cars, it is DD with the lead right now. Can he hold it? Big wide turn on the entry from DD Live, but it helps him out. Headed over the line, it is DD Live in the DD Fandom Protector. The substitute grabs the Dubby Racing Championship, and he grabs himself a second show. He will be back next time on the Indy Madness Tour for both racing and freestyle. DD Live does it here in Round Rock, Texas. This is history. He is the earliest sub to grab himself a second show. We have never had the first sub grab a win and earn himself a second show. We'll see how he does throughout the next show or two, maybe. I mean, he has to earn it again, but I mean, we gotta watch and see what happens here. Big sky wheelie up and over that center hill, and he's gonna park it there. One last look at that DD Fandom Protector truck before we head into freestyle, guys. Be sure to stick around. We got freestyle coming up in just a minute, but before we get there, we're gonna take a look at the points awarded for tonight's racing competition. What a night for DD Live and the DD Fandom Protector. Megalodon still leads the season right now with 34 points. Fullboar right behind, or tied with Giovanna with 34 points. Amsoil Shock Therapy right behind them with 33, as well as Vorian Prime Jack Merkle with 24. Big gap here in the competition. Kaylyn Mowry with 19. Dawson Rayas with 18. DD Live with 16. He's middle of the pack already, and his season just started. Iron Outlaw also with 16, Excaliber with 15, Megabyte 14, Chillin Villain with 13, and Corey Fisher in Blacksmith with 11 points. This is a decently spread out field here, man. Jimmy Creten and Bounty Hunter with 8, Shadow the Hedgehog 8, Rage with 8, and Colt Durham in Plain Crazy with 7 points. And that is gonna do it for our racing competition, guys. Like I said, be sure to stick around. We got freestyle coming up in just a minute. Also, be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed tonight's episode, guys. We got new shows every Saturday, and we got 3 tours to choose from: the biggest and baddest tour, the Indy Madness Tour, and the All-Star Challenge Tour, featuring Team Thunder versus Team Mayhem all season long. It's the biggest Monster Jam team battle we've ever seen. And don't forget to check us out on Instagram at RORSRPS for all kinds of extra content, including early access to the week's racing bracket, pit party pictures, results, and more. And yeah, guys, stick around. I like to see you guys talking in the live chat. Likes and comments definitely help out the algorithm to spread the episodes around a little more. So keep it up. Also, guys, be sure to check out Dubby. They are the channel partner, and you can get 10% off your energy powder with clean, jetterless energy, brought to you only by Dubby. And you can get 10% off using code RORSRPS at checkout. And when you use the RORSRPS code, I do get a cut, which means you are helping support the RORSRPS channel. And I appreciate it greatly to anyone who decides to get some Dubby. Give it a shot though, guys. It is really delicious, and like I said, you'll be supporting the RORSRPS channel. Be sure to stick around. We got freestyle coming up in just a minute. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. I will see you guys in freestyle in just a minute.